Welcome to our new series, The 200 Movie Challenge. Our goal this year is to watch 200 movies that we haven't seen yet. If you want to listen to the full podcast where this clip is from, the link will be in the description. Now enjoy today's movie. I'm going to just say this right now, Soto, that I saw Captain America Brave New World. And I'm saying this because I kind of want to talk about more of why I chose this than the review itself. Because,
Sure.
when we did this in the fall and we were talking about doing this last year, I actually saw 3 Marvel movies. We both saw Deadpool and Wolverine. I saw the Marvels. I saw the Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania, because I was trying to catch up. Because after Endgame, it's been tough. And part of it is because
Mhm.
Endgame was just such a fantastic way to end that journey,
Oh,
that story,
legendary,
20, 20,
legendary.
20, whatever movies. And then COVID came, and obviously that kind of stopped a lot of movie making. And so it just, luckily,
Yeah.
I'm so glad Endgame came out right before COVID because I could not imagine what would have happened. But anyhow, so obviously as they're trying to come back, they're trying to, come back with movies. If you remember, Black Widow wasn't even in theaters. It came to Disney Plus. And then they started
Yes.
doing shows, and this has been hit or miss with people. And there's been a lot of shows that I felt were okay for character growth. WandaVision was more for her becoming the Scarlet Witch, which helped for Doctor Strange's second movie. Loki is actually really fun, really good, though they're not doing a third season because that was supposed to be the whole multiverse thing with Kang, and that all got screwed up. And there's been many others, Miss Marvel. But then
Hmm.
there was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I know I'm missing a
Hmm.
few shows, and I said this about the
Let's see that
Falcon.
one.
That one I felt was good because it wasn't just about those characters. It kind of was dealing with the effects of what happened with the Avengers. It also dealt with the fact of the blip. But more importantly, like I felt like that was a show that was dealing with the overall look of what the next
That was a
Avengers.
show.
Yeah, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a TV show.
Oh,
So
okay.
basically, if
I
you
didn't know
haven't
if that's
seen
a
it,
movie.
I won't get into it too much. But Sam Wilson, obviously, at the end of Endgame, he got Captain America. Steve Rogers gives him the shield, basically saying, "You're the next Captain
Yes.
America." The Falcon and the
Hmm.
Winter Soldier deals with that because Sam Wilson has the shield, and he does not feel he earned it. He does not know if he wants it. He actually turns down the shield at first, and the government gives a new Captain America, this guy named John Walker, and who's kind of a little bit more dark. He's also, I don't want to say super strong. He does end up taking the serum on his own. Sam Wilson doesn't want to take the serum. He doesn't feel like he needs it. So there's this kind of story aspect to it, like what should the next Captain America be? But also, the one thing that wasn't really talked about, we know the blip. Hulk snapped half of existence back to life, which was great. We saw Hawkeye see his phone, his wife, and he's happy. This deals with the realistic after effects of it. It was 5 years, Soto. People lost their homes.
Yeah.
People lost their loved
Yes.
ones. The other halves who
Hmm.
got married. Where's the room for half of these people? Because obviously, whatever million people just came back into existence on Earth, one freaking planet. So
Yeah.
the real bad guys, they call themselves the Flag Smashers. They are like, they want to prove, hey, life was better during the blip. We just now screwed ourselves. And so it's this weird thing where yes, they are doing this by not great means necessary, but you kind of see their picture because obviously now the government's trying to take care of everyone, and just life's going to shit. And obviously now the Falcons, Sam Wilson and Bucky, are just trying to fight John Walker because obviously they're how they want to handle things are two different ways. And Sam Wilson's still trying to be like, should I take the shield? Bucky's like, Steve Rogers gave that to you because you're a good person. He knows you're going to do the right thing. You don't need the serum. You do not need to be a super soldier. And obviously, we
Hmm.
know what happens. He does obviously accept it because then we're at Captain America: Brave New World. And yeah, this was okay. I don't know what I was expecting. Well, because here's why.
Okay.
I They cast Harrison Ford as
Yeah.
Thaddeus, Ross, who was played by William Hurt in The Incredible Hulk, but unfortunately William Hurt passed
Yep.
away. So I'm like,
Hmm.
okay. And the previews show, obviously, everyone knows Red Hulk. Like this was not even
Yeah.
now the Red Hulk doesn't appear till the last half an hour, but knowing that is happening kind of just ruins the surprise. Now, again, if I would have got that ruined for me by spoiler means, whatever. But it was all over the commercials, and I was like, ah.
Yeah.
And they also, the big talk was Liv Tyler returning because the Incredible Hulk movie was kind of the one not really talked about because that's the Edward Norton one, So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
hot take, I still thought Norton was a better Hulk banner than Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo brought a more of a comedic aspect to the Hulk. I just thought Edward Norton was great and he could have done so much more,
Yeah.
but I know not many people like him. But she returns for one scene, but they made like this big return. I'm like, yeah. And I love Liv Tyler. So this movie was okay. There wasn't much to talk about. I think the main point or takeaway is the fact that the president, Harrison Ford, Thaddeus Ross, I keep wanting to say Moss, I'm sorry, Thaddeus Ross, it tells him, like, we need to rebuild the Avengers. And Sam Wilson's like, well, weren't you the reason the Avengers kind of disbanded? He's like, yeah, I was wrong. But so they were like, again, his big question is, what if we disagree on how to handle a situation? And the president looks at him like, well, then I would like to sit down and talk about that. And as that's going on, you're like, oh shit, because obviously we know where this is going. Avengers, Doomsday, obviously Thunderbolts is a big part of that. So I feel like now they're hitting their stride and going to what they want to next year. The main plot of this is also what we found on the Falcon Winter Soldier. Steve Rogers was not the original soldier to get the super serum. They actually did it on prisoners back in the 50s and 60s. And the first one that survived it was an African American who they threw in jail for 30 years. And Sam Wilson's like, how am I not
Wow.
hearing about this? And they did. So he got pardoned because, but Sam Wilson brings him and brings his new Falcon to the White House for this big meeting. And for some reason, this song plays. It kind of like that secret trigger, and he turns into this killer and tries to assassinate the president. So that's kind of the main story. Like, obviously now the new Captain America brought in the guy who tried to assassinate the president. So that's what they're trying to figure out. And obviously, that Harrison Ford is trying to deal with what's coming out. You can see these people, and you just know, you're like, there were some cool fight scenes. Overall, this set up to what's going to happen next year. And it's set up to what probably happens in the Thunderbolts movie, which I am curious because I think that's where they talk about the Avengers really get their kickstart and you see where they're going with Doomsday. But it's tough with, and I say this is how do I say this? This is a beginning story for Sam Wilson. And even though we've seen his transition from Falcon to this is like, all right, this is now his new origin story for Captain America. And obviously, kind of like the original, what it all started, it has to start somewhere. May not be the best, but yeah, I think I was a little. I just felt like it should have been more. I felt like a lot of things were replayed. But I will admit the fact that he incorporates Captain America's shield with his falcon wings, and that's how he fights. It was a cool new fight style to see. You're like, damn, this guy can go. So it was okay, and that's where I'm at with this. Like I felt like this was the start, and the beginning's always the hardest to go or to accomplish. But I had a little bit more high hopes because I love the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. I thought that dealt with a lot of real issues. I felt that did really amazing things for the Sam Wilson character. I just felt like this movie did not move forward his character a bit, but it did set up the Avengers, so there is that. So main question, I guess, is where I rank this. And this is one that's in kind of in the middle of the road, and that's why I'm like, I don't know where to do it. But looking at it for right now, this is probably going to be my new number 25. So right above Jay and the Silent Bob reboot, but probably underneath Terrifier. That's kind of where I'm putting it for now. But as I said earlier on, I feel like this is one that might change because I don't know. This middle section is very weird to me. And like I said, this isn't a bad movie. I think I expected more, but I understand that it's a beginning movie. You know what I mean? For what the new Avengers is. So this is almost like the very first Captain America one. You need to start setting things up. I think now we know that the Fantastic Four is coming. We know X-Men's coming. We know Doomsday's coming. And there's a lot of excitement to all of this. So yeah, to me, I place this movie as the start of what the next Avengers is going to be. So that's why I think, again, we're going to start seeing that tide go up. We hit the lull. Deadpool and Wolverine joked about it. That's kind of a lull. People give or take the Disney shows.
Oh, it's definitely a lull.
but I feel like now they turn, and especially with the success that Thunderbolts had, and what's coming next year. So I feel like this is starting to rise a little bit. But could have been better, yeah. But I think our expectations for what happened in the first 3, 4 phases up until Endgame, it's so hard. People expect what happens at the end. They got to realize you need to build the story. You need to build these characters. There needs to be reason. So I get that, but I think I just expected a little bit more out of it, more growth out of the Captain America character, Sam Wilson character. So that's why it's middle of the
Right.
row, a little low. You know, like I said, it's not going to be the most memorable Marvel film, but compared to a lot of the shit, Marvels, the Ant-Man and Wasp and Black Widow, a lot of that, yeah, no, this is definitely a lot better. I Deadpool Wolverine is its own thing. I mean, Deadpool's Deadpool. You know, you're gonna laugh at Ryan Reynolds. It's a different style, but all the
I
other
enjoyed
stuff.
it.
No, that's what I'm saying. But everything else that I think more built from what the original Avengers to this, where there's connecting stories. Because to me, Deadpool and Wolverine, though part of the Marvel universe, still in a weird way is on its own. We'll see. We'll see where all these characters go. But yeah, again, if this wasn't a bad movie, just wasn't a great movie. I enjoyed it somewhat, but I didn't love it. So that's kind of where it stands right now. Number 25 for me.
Oh.
So question is, will you start getting into Marvel again? What was the like? Yeah, you saw Deadpool and Wolverine. Was that? I know there's
Yeah,
so
I saw
much
Deadpool
shit.
Wolverine. It's like, like the only thing that drove me to Deadpool and Wolverine is because it was set up as an inside joke for the first two movies. That the Hugh Jackman was just referenced from the first one on, and to me, it didn't really matter what the fuck happened in the
Correct.
third one because it was just awesome to see that was the case, and if it ended up being them back to back fighting while listening to like a prayer, Ryan Reynolds makes me laugh. I don't care what he's doing. There were some sloggy parts. I think that Deadpool Wolverine probably could have used some trimming in the middle and like it would have been a little bit tighter, but I wasn't mad about it. I know some friends of mine that are like, "Oh, that movie was just not great." I'm like, "Well, then, yeah, comedy is subjective." But anytime Ryan Reynolds says anything out of his mouth, like I'm pretty much laughing all the time. Waiting is one of
Agreed.
my favorite movies of all time as
Oh
well.
God,
So,
waiting is yeah.
oh, it's great. Like just his witty remarks and everything. So, I don't know. I mean, the allure for me with Marvel, of course, I saw Endgame and everything, and after that, it was like you lose track, right? Because then COVID happened, and everything changed, and then I stopped watching as many movies, and then movies kind of stopped, and then the Marvel movies they're coming out. There was like we've talked about it on other shows. There were just so many different things going on in different forms of media for Marvel that it's like you just lose the plot. And I just was like, there's too much now, and I don't want to catch up because I don't have time. Yeah, I fucking have barely time to watch 2 goddamn movies a week, like and do this shit. It's like now you're gonna
Yeah.
ask me, oh no, you gotta watch 2 seasons of Loki. When? When the
What?
fuck am I supposed to do that shit? You know what I mean? It's like I can't fucking just watch 2 seasons of Loki to catch up on some alternate universe shit that's gonna be a call out in a movie that's 10 movies from now. I don't fucking have time for that.
Well, you already saw the movie that
So
Loki kind of called out with Deadpool and Wolverine and the TVA. But I will say this. I'm going to say this because we know the other thing that I'm sad about, and obviously for obvious reasons, the whole Kang character with Jonathan Majors and what he did.
yes.
Since they had to cancel a
Yeah.
lot of that, a lot of these middle shows are now just a fuck it.
Mhm.
So to me, if you want to start getting ready maybe for the Doomsday area, start with Captain America Brave New
Yeah.
World. Yes, you might not get a
Like
couple of
with
the inside.
okay.
Yeah, this was like I said, this is because this, and from what I understand, it Thunderbolts a little bit because I've been trying to stay away from spoilers. But this is now where it's going
Like
to
resetting.
lead into what Doomsday is. So if you for anyone, not just you personally, but if anyone's interested, all right, I know I'm going to see Doomsday because Robert Downey Jr. returns. What the fuck? How is this all happening? That's because now the multiverse thing is pretty much gone because obviously they had to cut out Jonathan Majors. The Deadpool Wolverine storyline kind of ended it in a way, though. Ant-Man and
I
Wasp,
made fun of
Quantumania.
it.
Oh my God, yes. But that's the thing. They knew this was going to end, and so yeah, it's kind of sad because I think they could have done so much with the King character, but in a weird way because of what happened, and now they got to build quickly to a different villain. It means you can kind of start at this, and yeah, if you watch Captain America: Brave New World, you might miss a few things from Falcon and Winter Soldier. Same thing with Thunderbolts because John Walker, who obviously lost the Captain America title, because of what he did in that show, is part of the Thunderbolts team because he's still a major character in this. He's got a good heart. He just
Oh,
does things differently because that's the one thing. Captain America brutally kills a guy in the show. Like he takes his shield and bangs the head in again and again. They don't show it, but you see the blood spatter. So to see a Captain, because again he had the Captain America name at that time, to see that was like, damn. But this guy just killed his friend. So he has a different mindset than Steve Rogers. But because of that, and because
ah,
Sam Wilson took it, he thought he lost everything. And they're like, listen, I got this, maybe this different team might work for you. So he's part of Thunderbolts. So yeah, you don't need to see the show. You might miss a few things. But if Doomsday, you're looking at this like, okay, I kind of want to catch up. I would say start with Brave New World. And then when Thunderbolts comes free, you're kind of caught up because since they killed the multiverse, I think now the multiverse angle is pretty much dead. I don't think anything. I still want to see Spider-Man because I'm that's one I might have to pay for. I have not seen No Way Home yet, and that's obviously part of the
not
multiverse
for a
thing.
while.
No, because Sony has the rights, so Disney Plus can't put it on their channel. So, but they
Oh,
can
yeah.
eventually when there's an agreement. So that's why,
Yep.
yeah, that's been out a while. But I obviously I know a lot of what happens in it and who appears in it. But I still want to see it. I think that would be fun. But that's another one that
Yeah.
they're losing them. They're kind of cutting out the multiverse thing. So if you want to see Doomsday, if you're curious to anyone listening, start here at Brave New World because it's basically this is now the origin story, the start of the what's going to happen, and they kind of some things from the show, something from if you remember Eternals, which was a fucking bad movie. They mentioned the celestial, the thing that appears in the middle of the ocean that no one happened to notice all this fucking years. But that's kind of brought up too. So I think that's where Fantastic Four will come in. But either way, like I said, this wasn't bad. It's a good start. I just think what Falcon and the Winter Soldier did and accomplished, because to me, yeah, Loki was entertaining and it was a good show, but this to me did more for the whole universe than just one character. Yes, it focused more on the Falcon, but it brought in a lot of other characters and there's reasons behind it. And the fact that people return from the blip,
Interesting.
it dealt with a good story. And even though it's 6 episodes, it had a beginning, middle, and end. And I was fine with this and I enjoyed it. So, but yeah. Oh,
Okay. 25.
25. And we are now 79 movies in, Soto. 79 movies in.
Wow.
It feels
More
like
come.
just yesterday when we were reviewing or talking about Oppenheimer and Jim Henson's idea, man. But yet here we are, almost 5 months
Jim Henson.
later, and I
Jim
got
Henson was
40.
like the OG #1 movie right there, if I remember correctly.
Uh,
Yeah, Jim Henson had one for a while, right?
yeah, and everything's just been pushing down under the bed. Under the bed keeps going down.
Oh.
Number 44 on my list. Yeah. Yeah, no, my top five right now, Amelia Perez still at 1. I got The Whale, Wicked, Jim Henson's at number 4, and Bohemian Rhapsody at 5. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's right. I want to see that. Maybe I'll check that out.
Yeah. Maybe you'll like it. Or maybe you'll be like, Chad, why the fuck do you like this movie? I don't know. But like I said, if you like Queen, you like the songs, you're just going to enjoy it. It's mindless. So, but yeah, so we should end
Absolutely.
this. We've been doing this for almost an hour now. And yeah, so another episode in the books. This will be put up in Spotify soon. And I don't know what I'm watching this week. I know John Wick keeps calling to me. I just need to sit down and do it. I was going to do it this week, but
Oh,
like I said,
yeah.
I saw Unfrosted, and then I'm like, oh, Captain America, because it just came out like a day or two ago on Disney Plus. I was like, I'm going to see the newest of the new that I can. I'm seeing this, so
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Look at you.
Look at us, new movies left and right.
New movies all the time. Oh my God. I love
But
it. It's great.
until next time, just go watch some new movies, people. Watch new movies this week.
Yeah, just hit play. That's it.